So I gotta talk about Thank Goodness You're Here. I just beat the game last night, streamed a full playthrough, and it struck me on three levels. This is a smaller game, right? This is an indie game, but it definitely struck a chord with me on multiple levels, and I kind of want to go through those levels with you. One being the art style. It is just absolutely delightful to look at. Even when it's like super gross, and it will get super gross, fair warning, it's gross, it still looks cute. It still looks poppy, and it still has this vibe that I just absolutely love. I love how in the beginning and you know, kind of dispersed throughout the game, there are cuts of live action stuff, like stock footage, and I really love how that connected. I really love how, like, you kind of get this bigger picture and then you see it look more like a storybook or even a cartoon. I really appreciated it. It flowed really well. The way the characters move looked really, really good. Jumping around felt and looked really, really good as well. It's a beautiful video game. It's not only super beautiful, it's also really believable. And I know that sounds crazy. I mean, the game looks absolutely goofy. There's these cartoon characters, ridiculous things are happening, but there is this sense of community within the game. There is this sense of like this place being a real lived in place. And I know it's based off some town in like northern England. I know the devs, two devs, by the way, worked on this. I know the devs are from Yorkshire, so there's a lot of inside jokes, right? There's a lot of inside stuff, but again, as I mentioned, there's that believability, right? You feel like this stuff is based off of real things, like hyper exaggerated, hyper funnyized versions of a real place, a real town. And again, I think that's super important when you have the ridiculous there, when you have these ridiculous characters, this goofy art style, and all the super gross things in this game. The fact that it falls into this town that does have that lived-in quality makes it that much more striking to me. The second aspect of the game that really struck a chord with me was its humor. I mentioned the ridiculous, I mentioned the art style, that also, every single thing bleeds into humor. Every single frame of this video game is meant to be funny, and you are immediately thrown in. You feel that right away. Like, immediately you're already chuckling, and then maybe 2-3 minutes in the game, you're laughing out loud. And I gotta be honest, now I know comedy games exist. I've played bits and pieces of Grim Fandango, Sam & Max is one, Monkey Island. I know that funny games are out there, but this might, at least in my opinion, maybe this humor just really sticks with me, but this might be the funniest game I've ever played. It's just immediately super irreverent and absolutely ridiculous, but again, that believability just makes it even more funny. That the humor of the game, just everything revolving around humor, including the gameplay, including the things that you're doing in the game. The finale of the game was just unbelievable, and I think that there's something to be said about humor in games. I don't think that we're making enough funny games, and I think it's super important for games to show that side of not only themselves as writers, but also as people. Right, as people from Northern England or people from other parts of the world. Like, this is kind of the kookiness of my community and my world and my imagination, and I think it's important to put those things forth. And it's something to me that's like severely lacking in AAA game development, and I would even say wider than that. We're trying to appease to so many different audiences and so many different types of communities, when I really and truly, at least for me, I want to see other people's humor. I want to see other people's art styles and communities. And yeah, I'm not gonna laugh at every little thing, but help me understand, you know, help me into this world, welcome me into this world. And I feel like the game does a really good job of that. Now, again, there are things in this game that feel like inside jokes, and some things I just don't get. It's not super. Even the very opening of the game, just the dialogue on the screen before the main menu, I wasn't laughing there. I was like, what does this mean? But as you play through the game, you kind of, oh, they just all talk like this. This is how it works. And I wonder if that like affects the game somehow. I don't know if there's like a decision-making process there that like changes the subtitles maybe. Either way, super, super funny. And I just wish there were more games being made that focus and hone in on humor. I don't know. Something to think about for sure. I hope that other developers and other studios look at this game and say, hey, we can be funny in video games. Like, that is a thing that we can do. And I'm not saying that devs don't do that. I'm not saying we're not putting humor in video games. That's not true. But absolutely ridiculous, irreverent comedy, I'd say it's fewer and farther between than, you know, quips in an Uncharted game. I also want to talk about the music. I would be crazy if I forgot to mention it. Truly, truly magnificent. James Carbett did all of the music. He was the composer. Did an amazing job at, again, adding to that sense of township and community, but also there are a lot of moments in this game where you're kind of just alone and the music is just popping off, and it really adds to the beauty of the game. And I'll admit, I even got emotional at in some cases when the music was just going and you're just floating around in this nebulous, and I don't know, and the credits, the main menu, just everything has this beautiful sound design and this beautiful soundtrack that kind of just envelops the whole game. It adds so very much to everything, the humor, the gameplay, and the art style. That music is just so important in this game, and the sound design as well. The sound of you slapping people or slapping trash cans, or the sound of mice singing, or a mouse choir in a church filled with cheese. Things like that just really, like, yeah, this is a joke, but we're gonna make those mice, when they sing, we're gonna make that beautiful. And we're gonna give you goosebumps when you go into the cheese church and you hear the mouse choir. Like, this is beautiful. The last note that I really want to mention is the length of the video game. This game is like 3.5 hours long. I beat it in like 3.5 hours, and I fucking love that. Excuse my language. I absolutely love a shorter, more refined and focused experience. I love that there are not collectibles in this game. I love that there's no skill trees, and you know, now I sound like a boomer all of a sudden, but I love that these the game can just breathe and live on its own, strictly through its gameplay, strictly through its art style, and especially through its humor. That's what this game is trying to do. It doesn't need to be an hour longer. It doesn't need to be a minute longer, to be honest. I truly, truly appreciate the length of this video game. It's on sale right now for like $16.99. That's like the price of a movie ticket, right? That's the price of a movie ticket, and I think it's well, I would have paid $30, $40 to be honest for even just a 3-hour experience, but $20 for a 4-hour game, something that you can replay and share with others and let other people play as well. I'm excited to like watch my girlfriend play through it, and that's something that I can actually do because, again, it'll only take a night. It's only 3 hours. I love that. I love that you can share this experience with people very easily. I want there to be more games like this. I truly, truly mean that. Like, what would happen if a AAA developer made a 4-hour game? And charge a little less, right? $30. $30, 4 hours. And it's like a fucking movie, dude. You're in a movie. It's just all killer, no filler. All killer, no filler. I want that to be a thing. I know that that's not the case because time and time again, whenever games are a little shorter than average, the grifters come out and get upset about it for some reason. I don't get it. I understand that there is this money investment in games, but a beautiful 3-hour experience sometimes can mean more than a somewhat okay 40-hour experience. You know what I mean? I think the game did a really good job of making it feel worth it, right? The laughs are worth it. I haven't laughed so much, and I just watched fucking Rory Scovel the other night, and this game made me laugh more. This game is funnier than Rory Scovel. Thank Goodness You're Here is an absolutely wonderful video game. I highly, highly recommend you purchase it. I didn't want to get into spoilers, right? I didn't want to talk about any of the story or really go into detail on any of the characters, because the less you know, the absolute better. If you just jump in kind of blind, absolutely worth it. Have you played this game? If you have, comment below. Give me your thoughts. If you haven't, what's stopping you from playing it? What's stopping you from making that download? Again, $20 on the eShop. It's actually on sale for like $16.99 on Steam on PlayStation and the eShop. So get that deal while you can. Really, really good game. Comment below, give me your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, party on.